Hi, I'm Boonie. I'm a coach with a background in psychology, art, and school counseling.
And I'm Shawn. I'm a substance abuse counselor, and I've been in the field for about over 10 years now. I have a background in applied psychology, and my master's is in alcohol and substance abuse counseling.
Right on. Um, yes, that's our
There you go.
introductions.
Where's the? There we go. I can see the chat now. Awesome.
Okay, so I will be doing the presentations. It's going to be a full screen, so I won't be able to look at the chat. Sorry, uh, but Sean will be able to read your awesome
Yep,
comments.
got you covered.
Okey-doke. So let me share. Well, today's topic is ENFPs. That's our personality type. We're going to talk about voice acting to improve mental health. And as we've introduced earlier, I'm Boonie. I'm a personal development coach and archetype auntie.
And I'm Shawn, substance abuse counselor and aspiring voice actor.
Woot woot.
All right. Overview. Improving your mental health doesn't have to be repetitive and boring. We can use our fandoms and creative expression to honor a range of emotions and explore our identities. Join Boonie, Shripam, and Shawnee Brown, that's me, in a demonstration using improv and voice acting to improve mental health.
Mhm. And this is our little guy coming along with us.
I'm dating myself with that picture.
And this is a disclaimer. We believe that we're all capable of transforming, healing, and growing. Sometimes we need guidance and mentorship. Therapy may be encouraged if and when you have trauma or need support to try talking to your younger self or some people in your life. We'll try to be as general as possible so your context will be unique. And supplemental docs are going to be in a Google Drive, and I'll share that later. So, a little bit about me. I'm Boonie, that's my nickname. I love archetypes and storytelling. Self knowledge and self empowerment are my favorite things on the planet. uh, my background's in education, school counseling, clinical psychology, and the arts. And the psychology of gaming is also a special interest of mine. And that's me, basically, in a nutshell. Um, Kind of a
I love
paradox.
it.
I know all of us are paradoxes, but I got that bull haircut going on. I got that grumpy face. There's a lot going on inside, but on the outside, people tend to think I'm either stoic or judging them. And so that's me judging you with your perception of me judging you.
Inception. And I'm Sean, the most immature 36-year-old you'll ever meet. I have good intentions, though. Like I said earlier, I have a background in psychology and alcohol and substance abuse counseling. During the day, I'm a counselor, but I'm also a amateur streamer, and and an aspiring voice actor. Um, I haven't done many roles yet, but I'm getting my feet wet a little bit, and just want to thank you guys for having us.
Yes. And I love your birthday cake.
I've been playing video games for as long as I can hold a controller.
I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with that too. So here's part of our roadmap. We're going to quickly touch terminology to kind of ground it in psychology. Um, and then we're going to associate it with expressive arts and healing. We're going to talk about some of the scripts you could possibly use in terms of voice acting and improv to heal, some more. And we're focusing specifically on inner child scripts, even though we're mentioning a bunch. The why and considerations is why would your inner child work scripts, why would inner child scripts be important? And then we're going to talk about and explore emotions and traits to consider while doing this work because there's nuance here. And then we're going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about some sample scripts using a scene with different emotions and tones for different reasons. And you kind of like insert yourself there to see how you would do it yourself.
All right, roadmap review. I'm going to review some of the considerations when attempting to do these scripts and some reminders. We're going to allocate time for like a quick discussion to just kind of talk about some of the things that get your input and some of the things that we mentioned in throughout the presentation, or just like little sidebar conversations you might have or topics you want to throw out there. And then lastly, I have a script that Booney kind of helped me out with um, that is going to kind of walk us through what some of this inner child work looks like.
Mhm.
I kind of choked up honestly working on this because it it does. It hits. It's gonna tug on some heartstrings, but I think you guys will like it.
We're going to tug at your heart. So be ready. Be ready. It's a warning. Okay, let's go.
All right, terminology, voice acting. The art of using one's voice to represent characters, provide narration, or convey information to an audience. Kind of self-explanatory. We've had a bunch of I didn't realize it was gonna be this many voice actors here. I mean, I've seen the list and the roster and everything, but every day I checked it, it kept getting the list kept
Mhm.
improving. Well, increasing rather. So I'm sure you guys aren't familiar aren't strangers to this. Next, we have improv. Using said voice to improvise, I think. All right, so I guess the best way to explain this is if you guys ever have seen whose line is it anyway? By show of hands. Okay, yeah, this is digital.
Yes.
So I'm sure most people have seen. Yes, that you love that. I love that show too. Um, improv or well, improvisation, short for improv, is just kind of come up things on the spot.
Mhm.
Actors usually just kind of freestyle and just throw things out there. Having sat in with some of the panels the other day, definitely stick to the script. I know a lot of people kept saying that yesterday, especially with auditions. A lot of times they ask you to stick by the script and then kind of do your own thing, but every once in a while it's okay to throw something in there. I guess one of my favorite examples of improv would be what was it? Avengers Endgame. There's a scene where Star Lord is he has somebody hostage and he's like, I want to
Where's
let me know.
Gamora?
Yeah, there you go. Where's Gamora? And then Tony Stark's like, who is Gamora? And then Drax is like, why is Gamora? And like that was totally unscripted. And they kept it because they liked it so much. So um improv can be with good timing, helpful.
Yes.
Oh, and next, I'm sorry. Next, is a quick glance into some of the work that I've done over my little short career as a voice actor. I haven't done very much, but I'm a regular in this show called The Squall House. So,
So, I see the chief gunblade.
Yeah, I'm a gunbreaker.
You don't say.
I'm pretty sure it's obvious, but I break
Yeah,
guns.
yeah, yeah, fascinating. Hey, do you think you break my neck while you're at it? Might help me get away from this moment happening right now. Know what I mean, buddy?
Who hurt you?
I'm just delightfully terrible. It's part of my charm.
Right.
Aw, Chad, you hurt his widow feelings.
LB, I just sent you a pic.
Ooh, girl, you are ratchet. You're almost out of here. Right this way, Chloe Overcast. Behold, the smoothest and coolest little best dressed dude who's a lover, not a fighter, but most definitely a biter. Just like that singing, sweetheart. Your little hero from Alamigo, Butch Ragland.
he's a rambunctious little tyke, ain't he?
Mhm. Sounds like you.
He does.
Um, yeah. Okay, so more terminology very quickly is really some of the meat about how to tie it all together and kind of get a framework. There's this technique in Gestalt therapy called empty chair, and it's been borrowed by many other therapy modalities. And it's a technique where you speak with someone or something that isn't in there in the room with you. And you can have many reasons for doing it. So it's just not just for whatever the primary reason would be, like, resolving conflict or working through grief. There's many other reasons. If we are creative and use our fandoms, we can find other ways to use the things that we love to talk about who we are, explore our identities. The one thing that I think is super duper important is to talk about the paradox of change. And so when I talk about paradox, it's like something that you wouldn't think would have happened. If one thing happens, the opposite happens. So when you accept someone as they are, they will change. And how do you kind of conceptualize this? And so you think about emotions, experiences, stories, or reality, think about it in terms of like people in your life. If you don't believe that someone believes your story, you're trying to looking for community. You're saying your story over and over again, wishing and hoping that someone will believe you. So there's this power that if someone sees you as you are, you have the opportunity to finally let go and change. And I know it's possible for so many of us who've had a hard time with just someone believing that we're struggling, someone believing that we're having a hard time, or this person hurts your feelings. And people are like, that was nothing, like, why are you making such a big deal out of it? Like, just get over it. That's the opposite of accepting someone, right? So when someone accepts you and listens to you, like, hey, I know that I might not understand this situation, but I can see that you're hurting. I can see that you're frustrated. Can you tell me more so I can understand? That helps you release the tension. It helps you just share the story, see that someone believes you, and then you can move forward. It's so empowering for someone to say that to you and just give you that space to be yourself, no matter what it is, no matter what aspect of it is in your identity. The two things that also related to what we're doing here is narrative therapy and the hero's journey. I saw that in Jasmine therapy. I think Jasmine Counseling's presentation. She talked about part of archetypes and heroic journey too, and I think that's something kind of like goes into all the geeks who do this type of work. We see that your life is a story. It's a type of way to see healing. It's a change process too. So if you see that your life is a story, that means that you are the author of your story. Some people may have came into your life, taken away your power, and said, no, we're going to tell you who you are. We're going to tell you what important events in this life for you are. And then one day down the road, very slowly, you realize, wait a minute, this is my life. I'm the author. I get to write what happens next. I get to look back and see what it meant now, even though it was painful or even though I wasn't ready to deal with it. And so you can have the chance to become the author of your story by seeing it in terms of that as well. And also, the terms of the hero's journey, we're not going to talk about all of it because it's a lot to go into, but it's also the premise of you are also the hero of your story. But it doesn't mean you have to do it by yourself. That's the scary thing that sometimes people think about when you think about, oh, I have all these hardships to overcome. There's a lot of things for me to do. I don't even know where to start. So the fun thing about being a hero is like in a video game, there's helpers, there's people who to teach you how to use these skills. There's people that you'll meet maybe once or twice and you never meet them again, but they play a very impactful role in your life. And that could be us. It could be another panel that you are watching. It could be someone else that you're talking to in the chat. Like people can say things that are so powerful and relatable that you take that with you for the rest of your life. And the underlying thing is, even though you are the hero of your story, there's other people to help you and give you things to teach. You do the work because no one else can live this life for you. It's yours. But remember, there are allies and helpers too. And before we start, there's a couple scripts here. So primarily we're going to talk about inner child work, talking to your younger self, because that's a really big one, because I think that there's a lot of geeks here who have a very strong inner child archetype inside of them anyways, which is why we're so playful. We love games, we love cosplaying, we love all these imaginative things. And so your inner child is listening right now. I'm sure it is. There's reenactment of past experiences, and I'm going to say that one for sure goes into the therapeutic realm for some things. There's practicing anger, boundaries, difficult or new emotions for someone who's like always been soft or always been like placating or you never want to wrestle the waters. You're always like, no, 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 I'm okay. Yeah, I'll you can do it. Go ahead. Like everyone's needs go above yours, and so you realize you have all this pent up anger inside. These scripts will probably help you find a way to express that anger that's been hiding. Right? You need to get it out, and narrating a past experience. It can be very affirming. Sometimes again, like you don't have the opportunity to have people listen to you or hear your story. This is the time to just get it out there. It's like, know that this did happen. I can make a script for it. I can name it. I can even list by list say what happened. And it can make me feel like, yes, I'm not crazy. This actually happened in my life. And you can give new meaning to these important events too. When you go over it again and again, you like have perspective. I'm like, oh, I did this one time and it felt like this, but I did it again and now I feel differently about it. And then a new persona. That's something you can do on your own, develop new parts of your identity, tap into something that you maybe lost over time. It's really fun to do that too, using your heroes and your favorite fandoms and letting out really deep, intense emotions, catharsis and grief, very powerful. It's not a one time shot here. You do this over and over again at your own pace. And talking to your diagnoses or conditions. So I am autistic, I have OCD. I talk to my OCD all the time, like, why am I so rigid? Why do you make me so rigid? Like, why do we have to go list by list? Why do we have to schedule everything? Like, it's so annoying. But then I also have to thank it for making me be so structured in something. So it's like it's a give and take for talking to the parts of yourself. And the disclaimer is we're going to explain some components of voice acting in relation to personal development and mental wellness and some considerations. We are being general for personal examples. So you could just take it and run with it. on your own time, maybe with a helper. So switch up what we say with your own story or fandoms, whatever is most comfortable for you. And Sean will share about specific use of voice acting with inner child work after this.
All right, the why at work. As I mentioned before, um, I'm a counselor. When I'm not making funny voices or playing video games, that's my day job. Inner child at work. A lot of things that I talk about and I do, like I couldn't hide who I am if I tried. Like I incorporate who I am into every facet of my life, even down to work. A lot of times when we're doing vignettes or going over different scenarios or talking about relapse prevention, I'll I embrace my childhood wholeheartedly. Case in point, earlier this week, we were talking about um, the science of addiction, the neuroscience of addiction, and I could tell in the audience, I was like, "Oh my god, I'm losing them." Like we
Mm.
were talking about some pretty heavy stuff, synapses and dendrites and endorphins. Like we were just talking about a lot of different things, and I felt myself like, "All right, this is kind of heavy." So, being the big man child that I am, you guys ever seen those what are they called? The Bean Boozled jelly beans? Where they have like different flavored jelly beans that might taste like one might taste like cherry and then the next one might taste like a turtle tank. Those people got problems for even creating something that tastes like that. But anyway, um a lot of times I'll use that. Like and by using that, I was able to teach them about classical conditioning. Or like when we're doing different scenarios or reading vignettes and stuff like that, I might change my voice up and oh my god, like I'll do different voices and different things like that. It just kind of lighten the mood because again, it hasn't been that long ago that I was a student, and learning and changing and growing and getting away from these maladaptive behaviors does not have to be boring, like we said earlier. Flow and listening to your emotions and inner experiences. Okay, this is a big one. All right, so again I know my stuff. I went to school for it. I am very versed in a lot of different things, but just because I am does not mean that I'm not human and not susceptible to, doing these things. When we have things in our childhood that we just kind of glaze over and not necessarily address or take care of, it can bleed into other areas of our lives. Um, Growing up, I was the only child. And we weren't rich, but I didn't know that because it was just me and my parents could spread the love around a little bit. But when my cousins came over and they didn't have as much, they would steal from me. I don't know if you guys ever had anybody steal from you and help you look for what the thing that they stole. It's not fun. It's not
Mhm.
a it's not a fun experience. And I just kind of I don't know, just went through life and was like, I'm over that. But fast forward to adulthood, and I'm out on my own, and my significant other at the time um, she had someone in our bedroom while she was getting ready to get dressed and shower and everything and head out. And I had came home from work and I just see this person sitting on our bed like she pays rent. Can you tell I'm still a little angry about this?
I
Um
spit on the mic.
and
Sorry, serious moment. Sorry.
very serious. But um it long story short, it exploded into a big argument. And I had to go back and apologize because that was my stuff. Um, and I didn't even realize it until I got older and actually started talking to a therapist myself. There's a lot of stuff I did not process. Um, I still have chips on my shoulders about a lot of different things. And just because you're older and you just kind of live through it doesn't mean that you can't revisit it or it still doesn't affect you present day. So
Right on.
that's what that has a lot to do with. What it feels like. Listen, we both are very versed in this stuff and we know how silly we get it. We get it. We understand how silly it might sound or seem to be like, yeah, really? You want me to sit there and talk to somebody in a chair that's not there? I'm not doing that. That's cringy. But honestly, once you get out of your head and you actually do it, it can be actually pretty beneficial. You start to uncover and really revisit things that maybe you never really got closure with. You're able to, in some cases, get that closure. You
Mhm.
can be like how Boonie was saying earlier. You can be that hero in that story in a narrative. You can change things around. I know I'm not the only person that gets in the shower and then they replay, I don't know, an argument or something. He was like, damn, that probably would have sounded really cool if I said that at that point. But stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like it helps us get back in a position of power. Intentions. Intentions matter and how it helps with mental health. Okay, like I was saying earlier, like it's all about what you're doing this for. If you get out your head and you're like, oh well, this is cringy. I'm not gonna sit here and talk to an imaginary person. That's for crazy people. And once you get out of your head and you actually apply these things, it can be beneficial. But at the same time, like I said earlier, um, I'd be lying to you if I said that like it's always going to be sunshines and roses and stuff. Sometimes we can evoke or pull up some feelings that we might have put in the dark recesses of our minds and never really thought or paid too much attention to. But on the other side, things do get better. Again, it puts you in a position where you can regain that power. You can revisit things that maybe might have happened to you as a child, or work through it.
Mhm.
It's very important that we do these things and just kind of be patient with ourselves. I don't know if there are any parents in the audience, but if I don't know, little Johnny or Susie came home and they scraped their knee, or somebody at the parking lot at the park, I don't know, is bullying your kid, you'd be ready to, I don't know, go to war. We don't have that same kind of energy or time when it comes to our own inner child, and it's sad sometimes. We need to be patient with ourselves as well.
Yeah. Can I go next? Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
All right. Who are you? Oftentimes, we associate our hobbies, interests, and likes as things to describe who we are instead of thinking of them as small facets of what makes us awesome. But at your core, what makes you you? Like I said, I am the biggest kid I know of, and as you can tell by my room, I like anime, I like video games, I like all of those things, but that's just one component to who I am as a person. Um, it Yesterday I was in one of the voice actor panels, and I typed in about like something along the lines of like, what do you do when you don't get the role that you want? And some of the advice that I got back, it was just a lot of good advice yesterday. But one that stuck out to me and resonated was the fact that like, okay, voice acting sometimes it's gonna happen. There's gonna be peaks and valleys, but being a voice actor isn't just who you are. I'm sure there's plenty of other accomplishments that you have in your life. Um, Maybe you did something really good at work, or there's other facets about you that make you you. I use this a lot in work because a lot of the individuals in the population that I work in, they've been using since adolescence and just kind of going in autopilot. They really haven't learned the first thing about themselves, and in the process, there's like a void. There's like a void, and I don't think that a lot of people resort to drug use because they're trying to fill some kind of void, or um they don't know any other way of having fun. They don't even know what fun is because for so long they've been on autopilot in the sunken place, just kind of doing them, and never really took the time out to actually learn what makes them them and some of the interests and stuff that they have. I tell you, man, like it's beautiful seeing somebody twice my age blowing bubbles or going bowling for the first time, because
Bubbles.
for a long time people haven't. So again, like, it's important for us to embrace that silly part of us, that part of us that likes to run at full speed, which by the way, like as an adult, I don't remember the last time I ran at full speed, but I wanted to die last time I did. But that kind of stuff, like it's good to remember and embrace that part of you,
Mhm.
and you're not
Yes.
childish.
Yeah, so the summary is we all have a void we're trying to fill. Um, Thank you for that. Thank you.
No problem.
Just kidding. Maybe not. So, okay. Here's some quick considerations because I want to make sure we get back on track for time. So, we talk about emotions because that's a really big part of expressing ourselves and tapping into what's important. Uh, Sometimes we're denied our chances to fully feel. It's like you ever have a chance, like, when you're a kid, you scrape your knee or something happens to you. And it's for you, it's a big deal. But adults like, nah, you're fine. You're okay. Don't worry about it. And you're like, am I being gaslit as a kid? And probably you are. It's like, well, the adult is not remembering what it's like to be a kid. And so they're telling you how you're supposed to feel because they're not comfortable with feelings. And so you're feeling like, I'm confused as a child now. I'm conflicted. And now I don't know how my body and my emotions are feeling to the real world. And then you have to adapt because you want to be loved. You want to be accepted by your parents or the caregivers in your life. And then you get like into adults and you realize, I don't know how I actually feel because the people in my life told me that I was okay when I actually was not okay. I'm going to throw that out for your neurodivergent people here, people with chronic illness and diseases. People kept telling you you're lazy or you're okay when you're not. You're not. And we're all lying about how we feel because of these early experiences. So the question I want to ask you is, how do you actually feel? And sometimes we only feel when we're pushed to the limit. When someone finally pushes you or you're like complaining about Batman. I went to a party yesterday. This guy kept on complaining about Batman. Anyways, so he pushed my buttons and like how I actually feel is like, don't hurt my Pookie. Like he's actually a really good, good superhero. Um, and, and so like because of all these early experiences and how people telling you how you're supposed to feel, you want to adapt and cater to what their expectations of are. We develop what you call personas. People who play the persona series, people who like archetypes and personality systems, you already know what persona is. It's an aspect and a facet of yourself, but we get caught up thinking the persona is all of us. It's not all of who you are. The persona is part of you to survive. The persona is part of you to have love and acceptance and community. That's how we do the belonging aspect. Persona is only part of you, but we forget that becomes everything. So we have to learn how to embrace who we are. And that means feeling the things, how they affected us, but it can be new and scary because, as we all know, that's the theme, change is hard, change is scary. It's like learning how to exercise, learning a new language, learning how to like be nice to yourself. It's all hard. But with virtual feelings, this is something that I saw in another panel. I think it was Anthony, I'm not sure. But he said that, acting means taking on a role or experience that's not real. I want to kind of put an asterisk to that. It's not real, but the emotions are real. Have you ever argued with anyone on the internet? Have you ever got mad at a character in a fandom that you're watching? You're like, you hate them, you want to rip their face off? Those emotions are going through your body. Your brain is actually feeling it. Your body's experiencing all the things related to feeling. The feeling is real. So if you're acting something out, the emotions are still real. It actually happened. I just wanted to add that component there.
All right, some considerations. How we say things matter. It's pretty self-explanatory. Like, a lot can be misconstrued based off of how you say things. Um, I'm probably not the only person in here who has gotten their ass. Can I say ass? Can is okay?
Yes.
Gotten disciplined from, I don't know, maybe saying something and not really putting a thought into how you said it.
Mm.
Case in point, it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. For example, you good can mean a bunch of different things depending on how you say it. Um, I say you have a friend over and they're like, "Hey, can I go in the refrigerator?" And you're like, "Yeah, you good." That means okay. Or if, I don't know, like you see like an accident or somebody hurts themselves or something, you run over, "Hey man, you good?" Two totally different meanings. So how we say things in, the tone of our voice, and I'll get into more detail about that a little later. But how we say things definitely matters, especially in the fields we're in. A lot of communication between people can be nonverbal. Pay attention with your posture and eye contact. A lot of things that we say. Well. Let me rephrase it. So, Booney and I are both in fields where we have to listen to what's not being said. And a lot of that also takes in consideration our body language. Like, if I walk in a room, like, I don't know, I'm dealing with some new individuals that just got in our program or something like that, and I'm about to do a group, and they probably don't want to be there. They probably don't want to be in that room, and just based off of their body language, I can tell that today's gonna be a long day. But
Mm.
we also got to take in consideration with the asterisks that there are some cultural nuances. Um, in some circles, staring someone directly in their eyes is a form of aggression. So again, just learn to read the room, but also be mindful of how we present ourselves. A lot of times when I'm listening to someone, I'm not in my head, or like I'm letting them, without even saying anything, letting them know that they have my undivided attention. And all of that is through body language. And lastly, our tone can show us what is underneath. I feel like both with voice acting and doing what I do as a counselor, this applies because again, I listen to a lot of things that aren't being said. If you are with someone or working with someone or anybody in your life that has any kind of significance, you can kind of tell what their baseline is. And if a person is really, I'm good, but that's not in their personality, you can tell something's up. A lot of times, tone and the way that somebody's saying something can tell you a lot more than what they're actually saying. But also in voice acting, a lot of times with the voice directors and stuff, it when you're actually auditioning or doing lines or something along those line in that of that nature, sometimes they be like, all right, well, do it this way. Because again, like with voice acting, you're not necessarily there. Like you're not visually in front of the person to also show them what exactly you mean or how you're feeling and stuff. And you have to use your voice.
These are sample script that I'm going to show. Hold on, let me get ready.
I'm excited for this part.
Okay, so I had to think about the process of like, what script am I going to do? What scene in my life or what aspect of my identity do I want to work on? And I had to think about something that's not too dark, nothing too serious, and something that I can make fun of, but something related to my identity as a whole. So I chose the library card bamboozle of 1999. So that just dated me as a elder millennial, seasoned. I'm very salty, overly seasoned chicken. So my character description is you can kind of figure out, like, use your own creativity to work up how you want to do this yourself. There's so many ways to do this, and this is how I did mine, just to show you guys. Okay, so the character description is a naive and socially clueless teen, anxious and studious, had no close friends, but people used her for bio homework and physics lab work answers. So she thought that was her friendship, right? She's innocent and unaware of social dynamics and thought everyone was good. So that's me in a nutshell in my teens. I was very studious, loved reading, but my only relationship with peers was giving them homework answers or showing them lab reports and going through back after school, going through the lab write ups. And they would take my answers, and I actually thought, oh, I'm useful. I'm helping them, and so like that's the feel for me, right? And so very innocent, naive. So the scene is this autistic teen is being bamboozled and shocked. So like someone, she asked to borrow my library card, and then she stole a library book. And I went to the library one day, and the librarian said, "We're sorry, you have a hold on your account. There's this book that never been returned." And I saw it like in red letters, and it looked like I was a criminal. I thought that I was the worst person on the planet, and I did really bad stuff. So I ran away. Okay. I ran away from the library, straight line, like Forrest Gump. I ran away. And I was so afraid that I was like, they were looking for me. I'm evil. I'm a bad person. And so I went back to talk to her. I'm like, hey, what happened to the library card? And she's like, my mom used it and she didn't return the book. Sorry. And so I'm like, oh man, what are we going to do? I guess I'm not getting the card back. And so, I I just left it at that. I wasn't very good at conflict. I didn't understand real world situations. And so here's the scene going back, telling her how she ruined my life with books. And so my emotion right now is anger and silly frustration. And the tone is silly, hurt, annoyed, dramatic, because it's not a big deal now. But if I went back, and did it right earlier when it happened, I would have been more hurt. I would have been more crying, right? But this is just to be silly about it because it's not that big of a deal now, Mina. See? Looking at you if you ever go back and like, so I just want to go like, here's the scene. I'm confronting her and I'm telling her, hey, that book that you stole, you kind of ruined my life. Like, I have never been able to go back to the library for 25 years because I've been so afraid to show my face at the library. And so I've spent a lot of I spent a lot of money buying books, girl. Like, so you raggedy ass, snap tooth bitch, like You took something so important to me. My life was books. You ruined my life with books. Like, I've wasted so much money. And so, like, man, hurt my feelings. And so, like, that could be a possible thing to try. It's very cathartic to call someone a raggedy ass snaggertooth bitch. I remember her face now, like memories flooding me about how she treated me and just like ignored this aspect of my life. And so here's one take of it, right? Making silly. Next aspect is I did it again with a different intention. So this intention is to prevent this. Okay. So the library card bamboozle of 1999 version 2 is preventing a major trauma with social skills and access to a library. So this is about narration, improv. I thought about the tone and emotion. It's more about victorious and liberating. And so this is quickly the scene again. So before she even goes to ask me about, hey, Boonie, like, can I borrow your library card? My heroes come in to protect me and save me, okay? So my boyfriend and Nightwing, they save me from the loss. They swoop in, they're like, hey, babe, this is not a good idea. Don't do it. This bitch, she's gonna use you and you're gonna never have access to the library for 25 years. Don't do it. And so they're gonna prevent me from that thing from happening. I get to reroute my life and they're gonna teach me social skills and they're gonna go give me tacos and Korean fried chicken. And then we're gonna snuggle at home playing Age of Empires 2 and Final Fantasy 8. I'm just gonna watch them play and be so happy. And they're gonna also teach me how to use the library because I never got to use it. And then I can save money and reduce papers consumption. The end. And so I'm really happy. Like, I'm just like lighting up right now. Like, it feels awesome. Oh, yeah.
You told her. By the way, the audience is loving the aggression.
Oh, really? Okay. Thank you.
All right. Before, during, and after the script. Which scene? Is this a past event? What part of the scene do you want to focus on and why? It's good to kind of put yourself in that kind of thinking. A lot of times we call it method acting. Just kind of giving that character again, because there's no, especially if it's like an audiobook or something like that, there's no way in the world that you can go off of what the person might look like and all of that stuff is happening up here. You got to be descriptive and you have to understand the person's motivation or what's happening, where they are, and stuff like that. So method acting incorporates a lot of that. All right, the tone and emotion. Do you want to choose a new emotion or a tone for the scene?
Mm-hmm.
How will you know? A lot of times, especially I so like a few of the auditions that I've done, I typically do what they want me to do, and like they'll give you little clues and insight on what the character's motivation, how they might be feeling, stuff like that, and then you're supposed to go. And it's good again to stay on task, but sometimes by doing something or using, like I heard someone yesterday with the panel saying like having like a natural rasp,
Mm.
those kind of things, like all of that stuff gives the character depth and makes them feel more human. Regroup. How did it feel? You want to do it again? Is there anything you want to change or add? So uh think about it in terms of like how could have done this better? Like what could I have done
Mm.
differently? Um like I was kind of joking earlier about the whole shower thing that I totally didn't do last week, Tuesday. About arguments when you're kind of like, replaying the argument in your head and you're like, what
Yeah.
could I have said better? What could I have done differently? That kind of thing. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. This is all a process. Like again, you're not gonna
Mm.
always get it right every single time, but just be patient with yourself. Rome wasn't built over a day. Or yeah, I think I butchered that. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? Right? Yeah, yeah. Um Yeah.
This is just another reminder. If inner child work is too difficult, like if the personal memory is too raw or unexplored, do this instead, okay? So you get to embody a character or persona that reminds you of parts of your story or redo a scene that already exists. You could just dump it on a piece of paper, type it up, go crazy on like a Pinterest board. Think of all the scenes that you want to try, okay, that just resonate with you. It's just to get the habit going. Try speaking these roles and see how it makes you feel. That's all. Just see how it makes you feel. That's it. good or bad. That if you don't know how you feel, if you're autistic and you have a alexithymia and you don't know how your feelings feel, if it at least makes you feel good or bad or energized, that's a feeling, okay? You can intentionally look at images, scenes, dressing like cosplay, having trinkets, all count. Like make your space echo what you want to feel like or the scenes that empower you or make you feel a certain type of way. This is all healing. And then cosplay, like our buddy here, Spider-Man, voice acting, video games to practice the feeling and tone. You can indirectly practice voice acting. Again, one step removed, do video game scene. Self-expression and healing are journeys, like we're saying over and over again. Do you want to say anything about the box? I know why there's a box there. Why did I put the box there?
Oh, right. So, like, as I was saying earlier, I was always taught that with trauma, just as gently as you open it up, you gotta be gentle closing it.
Mm.
Again, like sometimes we talk about or mention some really heavy themes. And as I was, as I was, as I mentioned earlier, can you tell I'm nervous? Because I can. As I mentioned earlier, um, we sometimes tackle some really heavy stuff, and it can be very unpleasant memories and stuff that we're kind of bringing back
Mm,
up.
mm.
And I don't know, I couldn't imagine talking to someone and they're like, "Yes, tell me about your childhood." All right, well, it's lunchtime. See you later. Like you can't just get up and leave. You have to be just as gentle opening the box as you are closing it. That's why we
Mm.
put it there. I remember now.
Thank you. Okay. I like these visual cues.
All right, discussion. Any questions, concerns, comments?
Yeah, what scenes do you want to do?
Or even if there are any scenes that you guys want to do. What would be your intentions and why if you're wanting to do this kind of stuff? Okay,
Are
we
people
got somebody
typing?
typing. Yep, someone's
Okay.
typing now.
So I'll say for me, like since I hurt my foot and I haven't been able to walk for like a whole year now, um, my scene would be like hoping and wishing that my body gets stronger. And so I I posted another one for the Why We Need to Touch Grass panel. Like I want to get buff so I can carry my boyfriend around. I want to pick him up.
I mean, sometimes as a guy, you want to get lifted up. I don't know. Um,
Really? Yeah.
yeah, why
Give him
not?
flowers, pretty flowers, purple flowers. Give him purple flowers and pick him up. Let's go.
I guess for me, you definitely just snorted just now.
Yes.
I guess for me, I don't know, just like arguments or something that somebody might have said to me, and I'm like in my head, like I could have handled that better, or
Mm.
that would have sounded cool if I said this right there at that time. But I don't know. I mean, it doesn't make me want to go back and start confrontation with the person or anything like that. It just kind of helps me feel like, yeah, I'm the man.
Yeah, that's a great feeling.
All right, I've been watching Farian, and I see a lot of what you have mentioned in the first half of the panel embodied in its characters. I've realized this is one of the reasons why I really enjoy the series. Yeah, I mean, like it's
Mhm.
relatable.
Yes.
Um, definitely, I think we take the people who are we can kind of see ourselves in. Like,
Mhm.
I you can't see it, but I have a huge Master Sword replica and Hylian shield over my desk, and I love The Legend of Zelda. And like people are like, why don't Link talk? Why doesn't Link talk? And the whole purpose and point of it is for you to put yourself in his perspective, for you to kind of self insert yourself
Mm.
into that. And we just kind of gravitate towards it. Or even Spider Man. Like people love an underdog.
That's
So
funny
I
because
agree.
like I'm a soft-spoken person, but I like the really violent and aggressive characters because I can't always do that outside. And so like sometimes there is a mismatch for how people see you and how you see yourself too. Like it depends, right? Because I do want to blow shit up. Like I want to destroy things all the time. Like it's like angry and violent.
Yeah, ask us how
But
we know after that reading.
oh, really? Oh, sorry. You know, but my
It's
voice
all
is so
good.
calming and soothing. Like I am here to help guide people. No?
It's always the cute one.
Little evil. Yeah, that's me. Here's our closing exercise. Sean is going to close with a personal exercise. So as he speaks, consider what you'd imagine for your circumstance. Listen to your intuition and body for how you experience the words. If you need a break, go for it. We're going to include our examples so you have templates to reference and try on your own. And like we mentioned earlier, you can change the tone, emotion, and scene to fit what you need and your personal why. Everyone has a different why. Okay, so think about that.
Scene. You're standing near an old oak tree, gazing at a small child sitting in a tire swing. The child is swinging gently, but struggles to gain momentum. The speaker feels a strange sense of familiarity as they approach. There's something about this child, something so familiar. The child begins to cry. Unable to reach the ground, the speaker walks closer, filled with a sense of urgency and warmth. Hey, are you okay? I see you're having trouble getting the swing going. Let me help you out with that. As you begin to push the child, noticing the small details, the same hair tie, those similar looking LA Light Gear shoes you begged your parents to buy you in grade school, and a child's lunchbox next to them. No way. I used to have those shoes. And that lunchbox. Extra cooler juice boxes? Remember those? As the child swings higher, the speaker steps on a wrapper. Wait, this can't be. They don't make these anymore. My favorite ice cream bar. This is crazy. In the distance, a radio plays a familiar old song. The speaker hums along, only to hear the child also sing in the same tune. Wait a minute. This song. I know this. I know this voice too. Could it be? But I'm me, right? Is this really me? A pause. The child's voice, quiet yet certain, interrupts the speaker's thoughts. Yup, I'm you. For a really, really long time, I've been here waiting. Did I do something wrong? The child swings closer, and the speaker braces the tire, holding the child gently in their arms. This is your inner child. You've been waiting here all this time. A long pause as the speaker holds the child, filled with emotion. I'm so sorry. I feel like I've forgotten you. I haven't done a very good job of taking care of you lately, have I? You deserve to be loved. You deserve my attention. The child listens, silent for a moment. Life? Life's been hard for both of us. There's been loss, change, fear, and I had to grow up. But somewhere along the way, I lost sight of you. I've been so caught up in adulting that I forgot to check in with you. The one who sees things differently. The child looks up at the speaker, still quiet, but with understanding. When I go to the park and I see an empty swing, or when I watch reruns of our favorite show, it's you, reminding me of the joy we used to feel. I can't think of a single memory without you in it. Speaker takes a deep breath, their tone sincere and emotional. I may be an adult now, but I can't do this alone. I need you. I need you to remind me of the simpler things in life. Things that we used to laugh at. The things that brought us joy. Child looks at them with an innocent expression. This world can be so complicated, so confusing. But you help me see the sunnier side of things. You bring creativity and laughter. You bring warmth. I need to listen to you more often. The child expression softens, and the speaker holds them a little tighter. And while we may be able to face things together, sometimes we'll need help. We'll need to lean on others. Family, friends. They're here to listen and support us, just like we're here for each other. The child smiles slightly, reassured. I may not always be able to hold you, but I'll never forget you. I'll tell you every day how proud I am of you. I'll remind myself that embracing you doesn't make me look weak, and it doesn't make me childish. It's okay to love the parts of me that makes me, me. The speaker looks down at the child, their voice filled with love and commitment. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for helping me remember who I am. The end.